Good morning. Today we're going to discuss how bullish this market is, despite how bearish the action is right now. But first, you have to subscribe beneath to stay tuned to the new content that's coming out. And as discussed on Instagram yesterday evening, we're going to implement interviews. And the first two I can share already, which are Elrond and Zilliqa. I've been interviewing Benjamin. I've also been interviewing Amrit, co-founder of Zilliqa. Those conversations were lovely, and we're going to start sharing them from next week onwards. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And today we're going to discuss the topic, the bullishness of the cryptocurrency markets. So that's what we're currently seeing on the screen as well. Bitcoin is still acting in a sideways range, and March is still a very conservative, bearish, corrective, consolidation month. It's depending on what you actually want to give it as a name. But so far we are following the path that we're seeing here, in which you can also define this as a range construction like we do here. This entire white block is looking like we are making that sideways action, in which that's not too bad. We have just witnessed a 5x on the markets. We went from 10k to 58k within a period of months. Euphoria was ridiculous in the beginning of this year. Everybody was rushing to get into crypto once again, and now it's getting relatively calm. And that's something important to understand. When things get calm and people don't seem to have interest, that's the moment you start to show interest in the markets itself. So in that way, this is actually quite natural and organic for the market. So what do we see here in this construction? We have been discussing this entire upwards run. We do see this higher low, or at least support resistance flip, after which we try to test this resistance zone, which fails to break through over here, through which the 52k is the critical level to have further upwards momentum. As you see, we do not break up, which means that we reversed. We wanted to hold this 49k level, which we didn't, as we clearly were flipping levels in a bearish way. And for that, I'm going to look at the lower levels even. I'll just erase this part here. So what we're looking at in this construction is that this 49k zone, so this area, should be holding for support. Basically, we did see good support hold as we got this bounce up here that triggered a trade. However, immediate rejection of the previous support at 50.3 for resistance, and after a few tests it falls through support, another bearish support resistance flip, and then we are going to assume that we're going towards the next support zone, which is this region. So we can see this clear downtrend here, in which we are looking for clear confirmations for a reversal to happen at this stage. We might be getting one quite soon. We don't know yet. If we get one, and then I'll have to erase this again. If we get one, we have to be sure that we crack some levels for continuation. So if we get a slight corrective move upwards, this region is the critical or crucial period where we have to break through in order to sustain momentum for Bitcoin. So that is the critical level to break through. We might be getting that head and shoulders better, whatever you want to call it. It's just pure price action. If this previous resistance zone becomes resistance again, I'm going to assume that this month we're still going to follow that path, in which we are just correcting a little bit more before we start to continue moving from here. And you also should be aware that we have the 21-week MA just beneath us, still acting there. Most likely we get to that point in the coming weeks, and from there we're going to grind again. But this is a support level that we have to watch. So then if we look at the 1 hour time frame, what do we want to see in order to sustain that bullish momentum that we have in expecting this run up? So we can see that we are clearly flipping every level in a bearish way. So what we want to see is that we dip into this zone, create a bullish divergence, bounce back up and make a higher low. This is your trigger point. So most likely we get another test of this low range here, after which we start acting sideways and then make another run up. Debatable, but that is how I would like to look at this structure here. If green is not going to hold, I think we just fall through, and then I'm going to look at this zone again. So I hope this gives you some insights in how I'm approaching those markets right now and what I see on the markets, which is essentially still weakness, short term, in which we are seeing a corrective month or corrective period, which is completely fine. Then we've got Cardano as well. Cardano has been seeing a massive momentum. Everybody was in Cardano all of a sudden, and still it looks like we're just in a structure that is bullish. But we are getting in a structure that we just created a new higher high, and we're going to assume that we're looking for a new higher low. In that higher low structure, most likely we get towards the 1500 set zone or something in this range, just to make it calm before we start to make a new impulse wave. So then we can look at the levels that we have to define. The levels are quite clear. The green zone here is a critical level that we want to watch. If that is lost, I'm going to look at this previous high as the next support zone, which is also nicely arranging here with Fibonacci levels. So those are the levels that I'm watching on the daily time frame. If we look at the 4 hour, we can see that we've got the levels to watch. Same construction, every previous support becomes resistance. Now what we see is that we hold this support area here for support again. As we retest the zone, we make a break upwards, don't know why. Currently in resistance. Now we're looking to sustain or make a higher low on the lower time frame. So you want to clearly, I'll just make it blue, a blue line. Let's go purple, also fine, can't really see it I guess. This range here, you want to see that flip. If that flips, or we sustain sideways action here, most likely we're going to see a test of 2600. If 2600 breaks, I'm assuming we're going to 29. If we get this run and we reject again, most likely we get something like this, as overall the construction is still corrective for Cardano. If we look at the USDT pair for Cardano, we can see that we've been falling through levels. We have not been holding support on the previous high. So in this entire construction, what you want to see is that this previous support is regained for support. So if this happens, we flip the support again. I'm assuming we're testing red. But right now we are making lower highs, lower lows, through which it is most likely that we fail to break through and start to drop down, in which I'm going to look at the 85 cents again, which I have also shared on social media. So that is the current case on the markets. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Stay calm. Don't panic in those markets. No need to that. There's just a natural correction. If you've been buying those altcoins at the top, that's a reminder that you have to redefine or reshape your strategy in general. Aside from that, don't forget to subscribe and enjoy your day. Thanks for watching, and on to the next one.